expert news and views on the Lowcountry real estate scene. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Here's your host, Brian Beatty.
Welcome back, folks, as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. I always like to take a minute and just say that, I appreciate those of you that listen to this program, that have for a long time. It's been, we've been 10 years on this show, helping you guys better understand the real estate market, the process of buying or selling a home, so that you're an informed consumer, so that you make appropriate and informed decisions on not only who you hire, but you should have a higher level of expectations of the agent that you work with when you buy or sell a home through your education by listening to this show. That's the hope. That's the dream. Appreciate all the positive feedback that I've received recently. You know who you are, and the opportunities that come from that. And if I can help you in any way, whether it's just talking through a scenario, maybe connecting you with a contractor, helping you understand what your home is worth, talking about managing an existing rental property for you, whatever we can do to help, we're here to help. My number is 843-800-0065, 843-800-0065, or listingsincharleston.com is the website, listingsincharleston.com, or brian@brianbeattyteam.com is the email address. So talking about real estate marketing. If you're just joining us, we just kind of finished a conversation where we were talking about how much information is out there about us, right? About our personal information, how old we are, how tall we are, what the color of our skin is. I mean, it's blah, 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 blah. There's an amazing amount of content out there for advertisers to choose from to then promote applicable products to us. Now, of course, there's class protected information that's just not applicable. Like a big one, of course, is like familial status, right? So it used to be, before privacy laws really ramped up, which I think is kind of the direction that we're headed in right now, right? There's a push for even more privacy related laws, as there should be. Makes advertisers' jobs harder, but that's fine. But it used to be, I could go into a house and say, this would be a great family-friendly neighborhood. And there are companies out there. I'm not saying that this is right. I'm just saying that the capability used to be there. They've since changed. But I used to be able to say, all right, well, if I really wanted to, I could promote this home that I have for sale to people with children that have searched for real estate in this area over the past 6 months in this price range, that are also displaying online behavior that lead me to believe they're getting ready to make a move. Like, as an example, who has researched schools in this area that live somewhere else, right? That search originated from a different zip code. That's a very abnormal behavior unless someone's planning on moving to that area. So you just take that concept, right? And of course, familial status is a protected class. But just take that concept and then apply it to, your creative mind to then start to find ways to target people based on not just their demographics and geographics, but their online behavior. That's really what it's all about, is the online behavior. All of that's tracked, right? Whether we kind of like it or not. Now, of course, we have options as to what's tracked and what's not tracked, and what's shared and what's not shared. And that's why you see all those pop-ups for accept all cookies. And when you download an app or whatever, it's asking what they can and cannot share. Be aware of that kind of stuff. I dare you to read one of those privacy policies. It'll freak you out. But anyways, the reality is the information's out there. So we might as well use it to our advantage in a legal, ethical way to promote your property as best as possible, right? So we've talked a lot about how agents, for the most part, not all, of course, but a large percentage, very large percentage, of real estate agents have what we call reactive marketing plan, right? It is a set it and forget it approach to marketing. They're going to put it on the market. It's then going to populate to all these different websites. They'll put a sign in the yard. Maybe they do an open house. Maybe they put it on their own personal Facebook page. And if it doesn't sell in a few weeks, then we're talking about a price reduction, right? That's how it normally goes. And I think sellers are pretty sick of it, honestly. I know they are, because I've had a lot of calls recently, even in a market like this, where homes are not selling. And it's due in part because of the fact that agents have not changed the way that they are marketing properties. It's just same old, right? And properties are getting more and more expensive, and agents are keeping the same percentage commission. And so, they're going to do what they can to, I guess, have the lowest cost model possible, right? To keep as much money possible. But when they do start doing fairly well for themselves, the question then becomes, all right, well, I sold 12 homes last year. How can I sell 24? I need some leads. I need to market. What most agents default to is spending their marketing dollars on themselves, not your home. That's just the reality. It's a lot easier for them to do that. They think that they're going to get more business that way. I'm kind of the opposite. I prefer to spend my money on homes to truly market them, to generate a lot of activity, a frenzy. Like the whole goal, of course, is to create a frenzy for anything that you sell, right? You want people fighting over it. You want to create fear of loss. You need to create that sense of urgency. There are specific ways to do it. I just so happen to have quite a bit of experience in having done this almost 1,500 times from a transactional perspective. I get it. I know how to create that kind of urgency if we're marketing a property that can support that. In other words, and I've used this analogy before, and I think I've probably used it on this program, but like if you own a Honda Accord and there are 4 others at the dealership for, let's make it simple, $10,000, but you want to sell yours for $13,000, and it's the same as the ones for $10,000, guess what? No amount of marketing is going to make a difference because your value proposition just isn't there. Okay, so not everything is on the agent. In other words, because sometimes the sellers do have a role to play in this in terms of what they are asking for their house. Price is a function or a condition of marketing. They go hand in hand. But again, a lot of these agents just don't understand how to reach targeted consumers, or they just frankly don't have the budget to. And it's fine. It is what it is. But I think that because of the propensity for agents to just hit the easy button and for them to have someone else do it for them, they'd rather pay some sort of monthly fee or, hire some sort of company to generate Facebook leads for them or whatever than for them to just go out and do it themselves and learn how to do it. And that's what we've spent the past several years doing. I mean, we're at least 7 years deep into this AI, predictive analytics, behavioral marketing journey. And I'll tell you what, we have amassed a huge database of people that we have generated through our targeted ads that we constantly incubate, right? Stay in touch with. Because when we go and we meet with a seller to go and sell their house and we say, all right, well, here's how we're going to find new buyers for your home. These are the things that we are going to proactively do, right? We're still going to do all the other stuff that every other agent does because it happens automatically, right? Once it goes in the MLS, it's going to appear on all these different websites. That just happens. There's no 2 agents that are going to differ in the form of listing syndication, right? It just happens when the property goes in the MLS. But the big differentiator is, well, what are you going to do specifically to find buyers for my house? And yeah, they can throw open house signs up at the front of your neighborhood and catch someone just, driving around. When was the last time you were like, you know what? Let's buy a house today. It's just not how it works. Now, people can use open houses to explore their curiosity for a house in a somewhat private way. I think a lot of people have just gotten frustrated with real estate agents, frankly, over the years. Agents have a tendency to just bug people into submission, right? Into working with them. They think that's going to work. Maybe every once in a while it does. But it's the calls, the emails, the texts, the constant bombardment by real estate agents that turns people off, that then might cause them to go to an open house if and only if the open house is actually being promoted, right? In other words, if an agent's not promoting it as a marketing event, very, very rarely, once in a blue moon maybe, will someone driving around see an open house and be like, oh, I love homes in that neighborhood. Let's see what it looks like. And then they walk through it and they're like, you know what? This is amazing. This is perfect. Let's buy it. I mean, yeah, that could happen, but highly unlikely. This is a marketing issue. This is a marketing conversation. There needs to be targeted ads going out to people that have expressed interest in that area, in that price range. And, we're applying some information and some technology to this marketing platform to find the right people at the right time with the right message. I mean, it's not all that complicated. It did take a while. The learning curve was fairly steep in the beginning, but now that we've been rocking and rolling for years, we can walk into a home, we can determine the types of people that will likely be purchasers for it, and then we can create customized marketing campaigns that target those specific people based on the behavior they've already exhibited that leads us to believe they are an upcoming buyer for a home like yours. The information is there. The technology is there. We've been doing it for years. It is a huge upgrade from what we did beforehand because we just didn't have access to this kind of information and the technology hadn't been built out in a consumer-friendly way yet, right? I'm not going to go and code and create the software to make this happen. It's other companies that have figured out how to do that. But I'm telling you, the capability is there. So for those of you that are listening that are thinking about selling your house, I think it's a must. I think you need to start expecting and demanding more of the agents that you're working with, not just on the selling side, but on the buying side as well. You know, we can use that same predictive data to find homes that are not for sale to increase the likelihood of you buying something off market, which reduces competition. And it works. I mean, we're doing it now. We've been doing it for years. If this is piquing your interest, if this is something you want to learn more about, it's obviously something that I'm passionate about. Marketing is something I've been known for in this area for quite a while. I get it. Let's have a conversation if you'd like. The number is 843-800-0065, 843-800-0065. Or go to our website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Of course, you can check out our videos on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and all that great stuff. And we've got podcasts on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. So just, if you ever are bored and want to learn more about the process of buying a home, selling a home, or the real estate market in general, we've got all kinds of content for you to spend your time on. Stick around for the last few minutes of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show right here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Stay tuned for more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Have a real estate question? Ask Brian Beatty. Contact Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-888-0065. That's 843-888-0065.